What's up, y'all? Shuffle back again with another tier list. We're just going to keep pumping these out until we're out of ideas. And yes, there will be a tier list of tier lists at some point. So this is the Camp Skills tier list. So big shout out, thank you to Tatsu, who is one of our fantastic Discord mods. She decided to help me and make this, so I didn't have to, because you do have to make your own stuff on Tier Maker sometimes. So it's here. And obviously, before we get started, if you are interested in joining Discord, link down below. Patreon if you want to support stuff. Twitch, I'm there 4 days a week. So come on through, say hi, all that awesome stuff. And we'll be ranking the skills here by class order, alphabetical order. So very easy to understand stuff. And I don't think there's going to be... You know, maybe we can... I didn't plan to do... Oops. I didn't plan to do a top 10. But we could. We're going to go through these pretty quickly if we can, talk about the ones we need to talk about, and yeah. So starting off with the general skills, we have Encourage. This is a 2 points for 15 stress healing, not bad at all. Wound Care sometimes is actually really good. You may not find yourself pressing this too often, but it does help when you do have to press it. And then there's Pep Talk, which is not quite as good. It's okay. Honestly, it could still be A. I'm going to leave it here. So we're getting into Abomination. And we have Anger Management. This is S, because Abomination can cure his own stress by using Absolution. So you take 20 stress yourself with Abomination, then you heal 30 across the party, and then you hit Absolution like 2 or 3 times, you're back to 0. If you're, from 0. And that's awesome. Very good. And this one here is... What is this? Is this Quickening? Oh, this is Psych Up. Okay, so Psych Up, I wanted to put this higher, but like Hyper Carry A-Bomb just isn't great. But like if you're going Hyper Carry, I guess you bring Jester or something. So I guess it could be B. Like I'm sure someone thinks this is S because it's 25% damage on a character that has a massive damage stat already, but it's too dangerous in a lot of cases to hit. I don't know. Like I guess you could hit this and then hit Anger Management right after, then give yourself 40 stress, like... Actually, no, you give yourself 20 and then heal it off. That's not too bad, honestly, I guess, but that's 6 points. I'm going to leave it there for now. Quickening, this is S. More speed, 3 points for 4 speed, just fantastic. And then we have Eldritch Blood, right here, is next. And this is a bunch of resists for 20% stress. Sorry about that, there was a dog attack. Not really dog attack, just dogs barking. Yeah, so Eldritch Blood is... I'm going to put it in B. You get a bunch of resists, but A-Bomb already has really good blight resist, so the other two aren't really going to come into play. Most dungeons only give you blight or bleed. So really, in most cases, this is 3 points for these 3 effects. Is that worth it to you? I don't think it is. I really don't. This is like, I think this is like Ancestor's Handkerchief or whatever for 3 points. Obviously the effectiveness is flipped around a little bit. That's okay. I don't know. I would rather do other stuff with my camp points. So now we're on Antiquarian, and Anti is interesting because you have resupply. Most of the time you will not press this in any dungeon. In Farmstead, this is like S or S+. In regular play, this is like D, because you won't be pressing this in most cases. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to meet it in the middle, because where it's good, it's incredible, and then like where it's... Wait, no, this is Trinket Scrounge. Okay, I got these backwards. So this is the resupply, right? Yeah, okay. So resupply is B. Trinket Scrounge is S. It's 2 points to open a loot box, and sometimes it hits big. At worst, it's 750 gold. Would you take a camp skill that for 2 points gives you 750 gold? I would. Obviously, mess with your inventory and stuff like that, but it's solid. Strange Powders. This is really good. Compare this to, like, Abomination stuff, where 3 points, you get only a couple more resists that are higher, and you get a massive stress gain on top, whereas Anti, for 2 points, can give someone plenty of resist across the board. This is, I would say, another S. Very good. Can really help you keep certain heroes protected in fights where it's like, okay, there's a lot of bleed coming in, I don't have my bandages anymore, so let's just drop this on Leper, something like that. It's really good with Leper specifically, but just overall really solid. This next one, I forget the name of it is. Incantation. Curious Incantation. So minus 50% stress resist. It's good. What I like doing with this is actually if anti has the most stress on the team and I camp, it's only 1 point too. That's something that should be said. You could argue this is potentially S just because it's 1 point, and there are a lot of camps where you float 1 point, so it could be just that alone is S. But what I like doing is if anti has 20 or 30 stress, so she has more than anyone else on the team when I camp, I'll press this, and then she becomes like a magnet for the targeting in the game, because how it works is the characters with the most stress on the team are more likely to draw fire or like stress attacks because the game's trying to snowball you. So this really hampers what they're doing. So it's like, yeah, anti has 30 stress, and then Cultist Switch hits you for 10. Over and over if you let her, and that's good. Like, it's way better than someone else getting hit for 20 or 25 or whatever it is at that point. So we're on Arb. Going faster than I thought. Field dressing, I'm going to put in B. The heal potential for 2 points is awesome, but it can fail. That is why I don't like this. You usually don't need the 50. It's very rare that you need the full 50. It's even more rare that you need the full 85. And you're not banking on the full 85. And then the removing bleeding is okay, but if you really just need the bleed removal, just use wound care. So I wish this was like heal 30%, like guaranteed to get rid of this, but it doesn't. Marching Plan is S. This is one of the best skills in the game. Just by far, Marching Plan is nuts. Like, it really helps you if you have a marked team. It sets up Arb because she goes last so she can get her shots off, which is the intended purpose of Arb's camp skills, which I kind of disagree with. Fundamentally, like, there's nothing wrong with marking something and then she shoots it next turn. That's okay. But giving your entire team an extra 2 speed really helps even slow teams like Mark for Death, which is, I think, Occultist, Bounty Hunter, Houndmaster, Arb. That team isn't that fast. It's like pretty average on speed. And this fixes that. So having just 2 extra speed helps quite a bit. Restring Crossbow. This I want to put it in A just off the bat. It's S, right? It cannot be A. It's got too much upside for 3 points. I really wanted to put it in A because the accuracy really doesn't matter to Arb. She doesn't need it. And then the 2 speed sucks. But this is a lot of stats for 3 points. Like, if I just looked at those 2 alone, and if I just said, yeah, I get 8 crit and 20 damage for 3 points, that's pretty freaking good. You could argue A for sure, and you might be right, but I do like the idea of hypercarry Arb, and this really helps her do that. That's probably why her damage, like her base damage is so low, is because she has so many good ways to buff it through like trinkets and synergy and stuff. Triage is, I want to say C. The value is okay. If you aren't running like another healer in the party, if Arb is solo healing, then this is like potentially A. I'm going to put it in B just because I'm never in a situation where I find myself needing to hit this. It's very rare. Like sometimes, yes, you get through a battle and your team just gets hit with a couple cleaves and then it's over and then you camp and then you have to use this, and those are okay, and it's 3 points. It's good value for 3 points, honestly. It's just the situations where you need it aren't that frequent, because if you have Arb on the team, you are likely already on top of healing with her, and so if you're patching people up in between the, or I should say in the last couple rounds of the fight, then you don't need this. I'm going to double check, make sure I'm recording. Alright, we are. And my mic's working. I tested like 4 times, but I'm just making sure. It's always in my head. So, it's pretty good. Just wish, I don't know, wish the heal was like a little higher or something like that. Then we have Bounty Hunter. This move, I don't even know what this graphic is. Like, can someone tell me what this is? Is this like a hand in a bag of, like, is this a coin purse? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Yeah, this is 2 points for 10 crit and 8 accuracy. This is probably S. I thought it was A at first just because it's like crit and accuracy, but then Bounty Hunter likes both of these things, and his accuracies are kind of average. So actually they're a little, I think they're like 5 points below average. So this actually puts them into a good bracket of accuracy. Very nice. Then was this tracking. 2 points is actually pretty good. I would have put this lower if it wasn't. Kind of wish the surprise chance was higher. I wish it was like 15 and 15. Then I would feel better about this. It's 2 points. It's not, like, anti-surprise is not better than scouting. Sorry about that, but yeah, it's not better than scouting in a lot of cases, so I don't like it that much. It's 2 points. Really hard to argue with 2 points, honestly. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it here. Like, I hit this sometimes, but not all the time. Like, I'd rather hit Bandit Sense. For 2 more points, I get to prevent ambush and do all this other crazy stuff, so. Plan Takedown. This is Boss Killer Supreme. 4 points is a bit steep, but if you do Hyper Carry Bounty Hunter, like, he'll show up. He will appear and kill the frickin' boss if you do this, so. Really good move. 4 points is expensive, but it's definitely worth. Because a lot of the tougher boss enemies are 2 spaces or bigger. And I should clarify this. When it says size 2, it can be right here. They even do it on the wiki. Thank you, wiki. This also applies to enemies larger than size 2. Very cool. Then we have Scout Ahead. This is A. I'm going to put Grave Robber's camp skill for scouting in S. And you're going to be like, why is this A? It's because the point value is different. 3 points are very hard to plan around unless you have multiple things that cost 3 points or something that costs 1. And Grave Robbers is 2 points for 20 scouting, so that's 10 points per point. Saying numbers quickly. I got a comment recently that we were laughing about. Someone said that I say numbers quickly to sound intelligent, so that was pretty funny. And we have... This here is about 8 points, or like 8 scouting per camp point. And that's kind of, you know, like the value's starting to dip, as you can see. And I'd rather hit, like, Houndmaster's is okay too. It's 30 scouting for 4 points, but I don't know. This, I think A's fine. Like, I'm sitting here trying to, like, I don't know, pearl clutch over this not being an S, anticipating the comments I'm gonna get, but it's fine. It's fine, dude. It's my tier list. Even though I've had my opinion swayed several times. Okay, so we have Crusader. Unshakable Leader. This isn't as good as you'd think it is. Like, it's nice for 2 points, but Crusader's a stress healer, so stress usually isn't an issue. Stand Tall. This removes mortality debuff. That alone is S tier. The ability to get rid of a mortality debuff alone is freaking S. That is such a powerful effect, and only... I think 2 characters have it. Vestal can interact with mortality debuffs, but she can't cure them. That is very good. Zealous Speech. I'm going to give this S just because it's 5 points, and it's unique in that regard. And I do like the theme of it. And it hits the entire party, which is very cool. Heals for 15 stress, and has stress resist for 4 battles coming up. And... you're probably saying to yourself the same thing that I said about Unshakable Leader, where it's like, yeah, Crusader can stress heal, so why does he need something like this? Well, this is still part of the stress healing kit, and Crusader is pretty good at stress healing. He can only heal 1 person at a time, and he's very slow compared to Jester, which means, on average, he's getting 1 turn less than everyone else on your team because he's so slow, which means that's more stress healing he's losing. Jester, by comparison, can always boost his speed with Ballad, so he can always go before you finish the enemy off, and you can just stall until that happens, which means Jester's always getting more stress heals out, especially compared to Crusader. So, because he can only heal 1 person at a time, it's less than Jester, he gets less turns at it than Jester. There are times where you fight a mini-boss like Shambler or Collector or something else shows up, thing from the stars, which we all hate, except for like 2 people. Y'all are nuts, but it's okay, you can like that boss. And because those things happen, Zealous Speech gets a lot better. So there are times you do need to press this, especially in Torchless. It does help quite a lot with Crusader. Then we have Zealous Vigil. It heals 40 stress on him and prevents ambush. This seems really powerful, and I'm going to put it in B. So the reason I'm going to leave it in B is because at best it's 25 stress healing, and once you're afflicted, this has a chance to fail. So if you never dealt with this yet, if you have an afflicted teammate and you tell them to use a camp skill, they can tell you no, not use it, and then drain the points. So you drain 4 points off this, and you don't heal the stress. That is scary. You can make the same argument for Zealous Speech, and I honestly would not press Zealous. If Crusader's afflicted, I do not press these. I am too afraid to press those in most cases, unless I have no other ambush prevention. Then I'll try it, but most of the time it's pretty scary. So try to not let Crusader get afflicted. It's the moral of the story. We're on Flag already. Going so fast. Okay, these are a little bit backwards here. So you have Lash's Kiss, 3 speed, bunch of cures. This is... I'm going to put this in... I want to put it in B. I'm going to put it in B, and here's why. This skill reads to me as +3 speed, and that's it. Because Flag already has very strong bleed resist, so if you are not using Shard of Glass, this doesn't matter. Blight, he can tank it. It's fine. Healing 33%, I would rather leave Flag under 40% life and go into the next battle and hit Exsanguinate. I would not spend 3 points on this. I would rather self-heal him with Exsanguinate. So really, in those cases, this is just 3 speed, which is pretty nice. But Flag is already a fast dude. What is this? His speed is 9? That's one of the highest in the game. That's tied for second highest behind Grave Robber, who's at 10. Very fast character. Also gets faster, I think, when he gets hurt. He has a speed buff somewhere. Yeah. So when he hits Death Door, he gets 2 speed. He also has Heartburst Hood. He has so many ways to get extra speed that this is interesting, but not strong enough. That doesn't mean it's worthless. I'm just putting it in B. I just don't find myself pressing it that often. I think this is the cure one? Yeah. This is S. Anyone that can cure disease, S. Spoilers going forward, instant S. It's so good. Diseases are more debilitating than afflictions in a lot of cases, and even some negative quirks. So being able to cure that yourself, especially for 2 points, this is actually some bias here. PDs cost 1, if I remember correctly, so the fact this costs 2 is a little upsetting. What's up with that Red Hook? More Plague Doctor bias. This is Lash's Cure, or no, Solace, that's right. So minus 50 stress, this is S. Because Rapturous, as strong as it can be, it's still an affliction. We were talking about that today on stream. It's still an affliction. I would rather not be afflicted if I can help it. And what am I looking like in the light right now? Alright, I turned on some lamps. Besides my ring lighting here, I turned on my bedroom lamp over there. So just to look a little bit cleaner. Yeah, so we have... oh, this. Curing 50 stress for 3 points. Fantastic. Sign me the heck up. Also helps if you run Endure. If you want to run that type of combo, this really just brings it back. Like, if you rotate Suffer for the stress resist, or if you have, like, Aria Box or something, and you hit Endure all the time as a stress healer, this fixes you in 1 camp. It's really good. Very strong. Then we have Lash's Solace. This is if you want to shove yourself into Rapturous. That's why it's here. It's 1 point. If it was free, I would still not press it. Straight up. I do not want to take 40 stress. I don't care about the Rapturous buff that much. If it happens, it happens. Because anytime I see this, Rapturous is like, the Affliction Barks can stress the rest of the team out, and they can start domino affecting each other, which is horrible. And that just puts Flag closer to heart attack, which will kill him. It doesn't matter how high his death blow gets, he will die to a heart attack. Very bad. Grave Robber. So you have Snuffbox. Curing 1 disease is already S. Curing 2? How could that not be better? Gallows Humor, only 2 characters. Okay, so it's over here. So for both of them, it's going to be S. Highwayman gets this as well. So yeah, if you don't know the lore, I think Grave Robber was modeled after the artist's wife, Chris Brassa. His wife was modeled after Grave Robber. And I'm thinking that maybe if I'm reading way too much into it, the 2 of them probably have a dark sense of humor. So it's no secret that Highwayman, the self-insert, and the wife insert of Grave Robber both have gallows humor. That's my headcanon. No, I won't change my mind. And that's where I'm going with it. Night moves, this is S because it's 2 points. Much easier to fit in than... who is it? Bounty Hunters? And for the crap that people talk about Grave Robber as a character, premium camp skills. Very good. And then she has Pilfer, which is the same thing Anti has, and I'm going to put it in the same spot. It's B. Grave Robber definitely not nearly as good as Anti in Farmstead, because Anti has... I think she can resupply 3 times. I think Grave Robber can only do it once, or can she do it multiple times? I can't remember offhand. Either way, you have the Dodge Vapor spam and Protect Me. There's a lot more utility that Anti brings to a Farmstead team than Grave Robber, besides damage. You can find damage in a lot of characters. So I think that for Grave Robber, this is less applicable, but it would look weird if I put this in C. So I'm just going to leave it there. Hellion. A growing favorite of mine, and a favorite in the community. Hellion, so Battle Trance, this is 25% damage on the front, and minus 25% if you're not in the front. You can use a medicinal herb to get rid of this, which is very cool. I think that was an oversight. It's giga damage. It's hyper carry Hellion, she's here. It's 3 points. Like, if I put this in S already, and all it has is accuracy and a condition, this is another conditional that you can get rid of, and it's just 25% damage. Actually, no, it's only half a conditional you can get rid of. It's good. Revel, also S. Want to get drunk after the mission? Here it is. So this is... like, the best time to hit this is if you finish a mission and you don't need to camp before then. This is the party afterwards, so you don't have to worry about these debuffs, which I think you can cleanse anyway, so who cares? And it's healing your entire party for 20 stress. That's 80 stress cured across your whole party. That's freaking good. We have Reject the Gods. This, I'm going to put in B. It's 2 points. It's quite a lot of stress healing for 2 points. It stresses out the religious characters, which, you know, good luck taking Vestal. And it's kind of nice in that regard that it is 2 points for 30. But Hellion as a character already has very high crit rates, and she's a damage dealer, so she's always critting. So she's probably keeping her stress very low, and she's also in rank 1, which is probably the spot in the game that gets hit the least. It's either that or 4. But 2 and 3 get hit a lot, 1 and 4 not so much, especially against stress attacks. So I think Hellion doesn't need this as often as you would think. Sharpened Spear, this is another S. I think Pansy did the math, and this came out to be better than Battle Trance, which I found interesting, but it makes sense. Again, compounding the idea that you don't need Reject the Gods if you just crit all the damn time. We have Houndmaster and then Highwayman. Okay. So Houndmaster first. Hound's Watch, the Zess. Just camping, anti-surprise. What more could you want? Then we have Man's Best Friend. This is minus 20 stress on yourself for 2 points. Another conditional thing. It's not bad. A. On a stress healer? I think so. Because I'm going to put this here. And this is just better encourage that you can use on yourself. That's not bad. Therapy Dog, I like quite a lot, actually. Like, if this was 4 points and hit the party, I would hit it. No joke. It's just... it's like baby zealous speech. I think it's pretty good. Release the Hound. I think I'm going to put this in A as well. I kind of want to put it in S, but 4 points is a lot to ask for. That's why, like I keep saying, I can put Grave Robbers in S, because 2 points, yeah, I can spare 2 points. 4 points, that's starting to limit my options, especially if I need Hound's Watch. That's already 8 of my points gone. What else am I doing after that? Let's see, Highwayman. Highwayman. So we did Gallows Humor, that was S. And did we even talk about it? I just slapped it into S, right? Like, it already guarantee heals 25 on the person doing it. Very high chance to heal 20 on the other people. And then I think you can get both of these in like net minus 10 stress, which is fine. I don't remember how the interaction plays out. But 10 stress, like at most this hits one person. It's very rare that this hits 2. It can, but it's pretty rare. So it has a lot of good upsides. I like it quite a lot. Unparalleled Finesse. I believe this buffs Riposte because... sorry about that, dogs, once more. So Unparalleled Finesse, I believe this applies to Riposte, which makes it much better. This is a lot of stats. That's a lot of stats for 4 points, but they're good. This is like... This is his neckerchief a second time. I don't know. I can't say anything more than that, dude. It's so ridiculous. Clean guns. The value's there. The value is there for camp skills. Like, in terms of points, accuracy, his accuracy is not as high as Arbalest, so the accuracy, very helpful. The damage, very good. This makes, I believe, pistol shot a positive modifier. It's normally minus 15. It's always minus 15, so this puts it to plus 5. That's an extra point. The game rounds up for you. Really good. And then crit, who doesn't like crit? Like, this actually enables grape shot spam. This and the Gunslinger's Buckle really, really helps with grape shot spam, if you want to go that way. And that's friggin' hot. So what's that? That's 20, 40? And then what's grape shot's modifier? Minus 50, so you're only minus 10% at that point. That's good. You can also use the crystal and gunpowder. Nice. Bandit sense. I think it's funny it's called a sense when it's just bells on a string. So that is S. It's just so good. Like, if you haven't noticed, the criteria for the S skills are just things I find myself pressing every time I camp. They're really good. I don't know. Jester. Turn back time. So this is 3 points for potential 45 stress if they're afflicted, which is pretty nice. I think it's A. It's good enough. It's pretty good. Every rose, this is just stronger therapy dog. Like, is power creep therapy dog, but still like middle child zealous speech? That just tells you that zealous speech hitting Crusader himself is also worth 2 points by itself, which is, it's I guess that's the other thing. So like, the argument that I would make for these is like, zealous speech is 8 points of camp value. It's giving your entire team pep talk and encourage for 5 points. This is giving 3 people these 2, which is 6 points, but they do it for 3. So what's the... You still save 3 points. Like, the effective value is still 3 points. That's interesting. I think it's fine there. Like, you could almost argue S, potentially, and you might be right. Tiger's Eye, remember that broken camp skill that Bounty Hunter has? Well, for 1 point more, everyone gets it. Cool. Mockery. This thing is actually interesting because you can do stuff like pass around stress resist trinkets or use other stress resist buffs, or hit Abomination with this, for instance, who can heal his own stress and then cure everyone else. It's a pretty powerful effect. I don't find myself hitting it that much. Like, Jester has 3 other buttons that are pretty good. So it might be C. It's weird, huh? Is it C? I don't know. People are going to come after me if I put it in C. I'm going to put it in C. Why press Mockery when you can press this? That's the question. Why press Mockery when this exists? This is just better. This is 2 points. Okay. Okay. Crisis averted. It's 2 points. That's pretty cheap. I'm still not doing it. You can sacrifice 1 point. Do it. Do it. Leper. So I don't like Let the Mask Down. It's interesting. But Leper has Solemnity. Why on a class that has Solemnity would you be pressing this? It's 1 point. That helps it quite a bit. I don't like it enough, though. Like, 1 point to put... Like, it's a net 10 stress. Because you heal 25 and give everyone else 5, so that's 15 while you heal 25. So it's a net gain of 10. You could argue it's B. It might be B just because it's 1 point. I think so. Bloody Shroud, I think this is... Put this in A or S. I think this is S because it gives them move resist. Like, that... For 2 points... Is it 2 points or 3? It's 2 points. It's a lot of good upside right there. And Leper has very bad bleed resist, so this helps him fix it a little bit. And there are some fights that are movement heavy, and this helps quite a bit in those regards. Reflection, also S. If you haven't seen the stats, like, minus 20 stress, sure, that... It could just be these. It could be the Bounty Hunter skill for 3 points, and I would hit it. Like, no qualms. I don't care if Bounty Hunters is a power creep version, but 20 stress on top, sign me up. Like, I hit this almost every single Leper camp. Especially if you have Bonfire. It gets a lot better. Quarantine. Now, where this isn't that good, Quarantine... Sorry about that. I dream of a world where the neighborhood dogs don't exist. But anyway, so Quarantine, on someone that has Solemnity, this idea just keeps coming up, right? Solemnity is such a powerful move that, sure, I will take 20% damage for 3 points to most likely hit one of these. It can brick entirely, which kind of sucks, but it can also have a very strong upside. I think Leper has some camp, like, stress healing stuff, like, what is it, Tin Flu? Just makes it better. I don't know, I think this is at least B. I'm going to put it in A. It's really good. Like, even if it breaks, it's still... Like, if it breaks on one person, it's not the end of the world. As long as it wasn't the one person you needed. And we have Man-at-Arms. How are we doing on this video? 37 minutes. Stretch out my elbow. You sit at the computer for like 10 hours a day working on stuff. The health of your joints becomes an issue. So you always have to make sure to stretch and walk around. Make sure you walk around specifically because who wants blood clots, especially in your 30s? Not me. So Man-at-Arms is a character that gets much better if he gets to camp. So we're looking at these skills. I don't think Maintain is first. No, it's not. It's the last one. So we have Weapons Practice, 10 damage for 8 crit. That has a chance to miss, which kind of sucks. This, I'm going to put in A. Might be saying it's S shuffle, but how many people are usually damage dealers on your team at this point? It's still probably S, right? If the crit was guaranteed, I'd put it in S. I'm still putting it in S. Screw it. It's good enough. Because I was going to say, like, how many people on your team are dedicated damage dealers? But that 10% and the extra crit just, it always helps. Like, if you have Vestal and she's stunning, the crit helps, the damage helps a little bit. If you have Occultist, who's already a crit monster, 8% more, fine, give it to him for Hands of the Abyss. Your damage dealers want all this, it's good enough. And it doesn't hit Man-at-Arms, which kind of sucks, but I understand. Does Tactics hit the party? It does, oh my god. Oh, Tactics. We're not there yet, though. Instruction. 10 accuracy, 3 speed, these are the two most important stats in the game. Usually, if you bring Man-at-Arms, you already have an answer to, like you already have Bellow and stuff for speed, you have Command to answer accuracy. This only gets one person, and the Hyper Carry effect is not nearly as strong as some of the other skills we were looking at. Like Reflection, or whatever. Oops, no, come back. Okay. So, I'm going to leave it there. Tactics, though. Holy hell is this move busted. 10 dodge across your entire team. This matters. This matters quite a bit, actually. Like, you'll have this, and all of a sudden, like, you will notice that you dodge a little bit more often. Like, it feels like it's more than plus 10. It feels like it's plus 20, but I'll take it. Then 5% crit guaranteed. Yeah. Hits the party, too. If this hit all companions, I wouldn't like it as much, but Man-at-Arms, who is trying to riposte and guard, both of these help quite a bit. Maintain equipment. I'm going to put this in B. It's 4 points. This might even be C. So I'm gonna put it in C. And here's why. Because I know there are people that like this skill. It's 4 points for a character that is not a dedicated damage dealer. I think this brings him to his damage. I have to remember my camera's in the bottom. I remember this time. But I think it brings him to either 9 or 10 to like 16. Which is, it is good. But he's not a damage dealer, and he has to spend a lot of turns like doing his other stuff, like guarding and keeping Retribution up. So it kind of feels like it loses some effectiveness. And then the 15 prod just doesn't matter. Because you already have guard, so you have defender. You can already stack your prod very high. Like, you press this once and you have enough prod for the fight. It doesn't matter. Hit it twice, you're freaking supercharged. And the prod cap, I believe, is 80. So you press defender twice to stack prod, and then you have maintain equipment on top of it. You have 75% damage resist. That's good, but like, how many tree branches do you need to block to assert dominance? IDK. we're skipping Musk because she shares with Arbalest. And we have Occultist. I don't like Abandon Hope that much. It's been growing on me as a skill. I like the graphic. Kind of looks like a certain mini-boss portal. Talking about you, Mr. Burrito. For 1 point, and a chance to get both of these, which is nice. It is a lot of stress healing. But Occultist is already a crit machine if you use Hands from the Abyss, or even if you use his other attacks. Sack Stab has a lot of crit on it, I believe. Like, Hands already has, what, +9? Jeez Louise. +9, +5, +5, 5. Roof Spaghetti, why is this move so terrible? It's so bad, but Occultist crits all the time. Then you give him the Demon's Cauldron, and he gets more crit. So he's already stress healing himself in a lot of cases. But it is nice to have this. This gets better in conjunction with his other camp skills. I think Dark Ritual applies to him. Yeah, it does, yeah. So if you use one of these, then this gets better. And I think these were designed with using this afterwards in mind. Yeah. Okay, so Curing Mortality debuff S. Like, it has this on top of it too. That's so powerful. It's so good. You almost never need this. If you're not playing like Farmstead or something, or, you know, maybe you do play a mission, like you're doing a boss mission and something happens and you need both of this, it's really good. Very powerful. Alright, what's next? Dark Strength. There's another S. Now you can make every character a hyper carry. So you get 15 stress for 2 points, they get 20% damage. I'll take that trade anytime. Commune. There's another B. It's 3 points, which is nice. So that's pretty cool. I don't like that it stresses your whole team out. Like, 7 doesn't seem like much, but if you play Torchless and stuff, it sorts that up. Not a fan. Like, I hit this if I need to. This is not my first choice. Even if I have a Cultist on the team, I will bring someone else that can prevent ambush, if possible. And I will press that instead. Even though I do press this quite frequently. PD Chan. Experimental Vapors. You probably don't hit this that often, because most people are running some kind of, like, main healer, such as Arbalest or Vestal or even Occultist. He's not like a dedicated main healer because he's just too unreliable, but, you know, he can hit fat heals sometimes, so you just don't need this as much. It's only 4 points. I shouldn't say only. It is 4 points, but it is good. Like, you heal 50%, which is strong, and then the healing received, this helps every other healer. This helps food healing quite a bit. I want to put this in S. I don't think I can justify it, though. 4 points is a bit steep. This gets better if you have, like, a guard, so you can just, like, dump all of your defensive stuff and this on Man-at-Arms. But as I've always been saying in, like, all my videos for a long time now, Man-at-Arms doesn't die to damage. He dies to stress. So this isn't as good. When you hit this, it feels amazing. Oh my god, I just made a joke about hitting something with a vaporizer. Jeez Louise. I become everything I've ever... I don't know. I don't want to say hate it, because I don't hate the vape crowd. Far from it. Alright, I'm starting to spiral out of control. Save me. Save me, leeches. Leeches is S. It cures disease. Who saw that coming? The cure. 1 point. It cures disease. That's S. Self-medicate. PD doesn't need the accuracy. 3 points. If this was 2 points, it'd probably be A or S. I'm going to put this in B. I can hear Nick yelling at me because I put it in B. But like, the Blight and Bleed cure, you have PD who can cure 2 people at the same time with medicine. So she's probably cured. She's in the back, so she's not taking that much in terms of direct damage. Like, if she's in rank 4. So the healing 20% does matter. It's still good. Minus 10 stress? Screw it, dude. I'm doing it. It's A. It's A. It's got a lot of upsides. 3 points is a little hard to use, though. Snake Eyes for SB Chan. I almost want to make this S, but I don't think I can for the same reason that you don't bring, like, a team of 4 damage dealers. You have people that can do damage. Vestal can do damage. Like, she can help out with damage with judgment and stuff, but you're not bringing I don't know. You don't bring Shieldbreaker and like 3 Hellions to spam breakthrough and stuff. You just don't do that. So this only affects like 1 or 2 people besides her, and it's 3 points. So like usually if you run the like one of those pretty meta farmstead teams like Shieldbreaker, Leper, and Jester, Vestal, then this really only affects Leper more than anyone, which is pretty nice for him. It's nice for Hellion, but Hellion and Shieldbreaker don't play well together in most cases, so I don't like that team. Highwayman, it's okay. I think A is still fair. I can't justify S. Like 15 armor pen just isn't enough. If it was like 25, I'd probably bump it up. Snakeskin, I like this a lot. This is more helpful in the earlier levels when Shieldbreaker is very brittle. But once you get to like rank 4 and you have Cure Bully and stuff like that, this starts to not be as important. But then it's still really good with Cure Bully because stacking prot on top of a... My phone just got a text. But stacking prot on top of max HP, just it compounds the effect. So the more prot you have with max HP, the more effective HP you have. I like that a lot. Sandstorm, this is just bad. Like, the only time this is really good is something Thick was telling me about where there are certain fights, I gotta remember I can't spoil, but there are certain fights and one boss fight that I can remember where Mark is a mechanic you have to be aware of. And having something like Suffer Flagellant, who normally marks himself with Sandstorm so he can't be marked, is pretty interesting. It's a fun interaction. Even at 2 points, it's only one person. So I'd rather this be 4 and my whole party can't be marked, but that'd be kind of busted. So, I don't know if I can put it higher. Then we have Adder's Embrace. 2 points is nice. It kind of fixes SB's really terrible Blight Resist just a little bit. It's 2 points. I think it's okay. I mean, plus we get the cute snake too. Right? Look at this little thing. Look at this little thing. It's like... Hiss. Nice. Let's go in the Hall of Fame, chef. Just kidding. Vestal. Camp skills. Vestal's got some weird camp skills. Like, they... If you have a religious party, they get a lot of mileage. But the religious characters are her, Crusader, Flagellant, Leper. Not a great team out of those 4. So it's like, are you running double Crusader, double Vestal, double Leper? You can't run double Flag. I don't really see Flag and Leper working together with Vestal. That's just too much. There's too much healing in that team already, because Flag can heal. Leper has Solemnity, which is already busted. Vestal has strong healing output, so like you just don't run these characters together. I think if God-fearing works, because I heard that it does. I heard that God-fearing makes your character, like the quirk, makes your characters religious. I don't know if that's true or not. Well, it's something I heard. I've been digressing too long about Vestal. So we have Bless for 10 accuracy and 10 dodge. It's okay. It's just okay. This isn't a hyper carry move. This is like this weird middle ground of move where you get some accuracy, which is very helpful for, you know, killing stuff because you're doing more damage because you're hitting consistently. Then you have dodge on top. The 10 dodge is nice, but it's like 3 points. I don't know. It's like, do I need a mix of a little bit of avoidance plus a little bit of accuracy? I'd rather hit Dark Strength if I want some hyper carry stuff. Or Eye of the Tiger. Not dodge. Chant. It's a bunch of stress healing for 3 points on one person. So you can't even look at this like... Because if you don't hit the religious part of it, then it just sucks. It's honestly bad if you don't hit the religious part. This is just worse than Encourage or Pep Talk. And both those are 2 points. So for 3 points, is it as good as Pep Talk and Encourage? Yeah, you technically save 1 point of value. You get 5% more stress resist, but who cares? That's... Turns out the dogs didn't stop, according to the narrator. So yeah, I can't... Long story short, I can't justify this being higher. I never press this, because this rarely comes into play. Because like I said, you have Flag, who has Lash's Solace, You have Crusader, who's a stress healer. Flagellant also stress heals. And then you have Leper, who has Solemnity. What religious character is getting hit by this? None. So you have to look at it this way. Would you pay 3 points for 10% stress resist and -5 stress? No. You wouldn't. You just don't do that. So, it's probably one of the worst skills. It might be the worst skill. I'm not sure. Because, I mean, at least Lash's Anger has a justifiable upside. This thing just... I don't understand. Why does Vestal have, like, the worst skill in the game and then, like, probably the worst camp skill? What happened? This is Prayer? Or is this Sanctuary? This is Sank. Okay. Now, where this feels kind of bad... Oh, it is Pray. So where this feels kind of bad because of these things, Pray is interesting. Because, yeah, you get the -5 stress, but the prot on Leper, pretty cool. The prot on Crusader, pretty cool. The prot on... who's the other one? Flag? Pretty cool. Other Vestals? Sign me up. The 5 prot on characters who aren't religious still, I think, shaves off like 1 damage for certain attacks. So, like, you get hit with Stressful Incantation. Instead of doing 1 damage, it does 0, which also means it doesn't check Death Blow, which is very cool. So this does have some marginal upsides. And then the other upside for having religious characters, much easier to hit and much easier to justify than Chance. So yeah. That means, I think I'm going to put this in A. Like, when this hits, it hits good. I'll just say it that way. Sanctuary is very interesting because without this mortality debuff thing, like, no joke, without the mortality part, it's here. Just straight up, it's probably it might be the worst. No, it still prevents ambush. So it's probably here without the mortality thing. With one person that has mortality debuff, it's here. More than one, it's like, it's up here. So I usually don't like to use the difficulty argument where, like, you say, okay, well, I do this in Torchless, so it works for everything, and that's the thing. And it's like, that is true. That is, I understand the logic there. That is sound reasoning, but the game isn't meant to be played in Torchless. So the way I'm trying to think of it now is, because I've hit Sanctuary in Torchless, and it has saved my ass. Very awesome when it does that. Because I've had people just sitting at mortality debuffs or something like that, just because you get hit way harder and more frequently, and the stress is a big deal. So it's really good in those situations. But then the more I thought about it too, like I said, I don't shame anyone here. That's never been the goal of my content. But I'm thinking also about some of the newer players or just the less experienced ones where they get beat up a little more frequently in their teams, you know, just because of how they build them and stuff. And so they bring Vestal, and people hit Death Door. It happens, right? You have, like, I don't know, just however you end up with your team. Sometimes it just happens, or there's some rogue crits out there and stuff like that. So in those situations, they probably like Sanctuary also because of these effects, because this does happen to them. So when I start thinking about it like that, not bad. So if you get no mortality debuffs, it's just down here. If you have mortality debuffs, it goes up to here, so I think I'm going to put it, like, right here. Because at the end of the day, it still prevents ambush, and that's pretty nice. So I'm going to take a second here, and I'm going to look through these and put some... I'm going to make a top 10 and a bottom 10. So I'll see you in a sec. That took, like, 15 minutes, my goodness. So I probably... As I was looking at this, I was like, I could have done without these 2 bottom tiers. Maybe the C tier, but... I felt that I really needed something to differentiate just the power level of these, and I do feel that I think everything I put in here is deserving of S, and I think everything else is pretty solid where it's at. You can argue some things are up and down. They're probably like, well, why is the S tier so bloated? That's why we have a top 10. So this way we can separate the wheat from the chaff, or whatever that saying is. And we're going to do the bottom 10 first, then we'll do the top 10, honorable mentions, all that crap. And to start, no surprise, these are all just in the bottom. They're at the bottom of this list already, so they're at the bottom of this. But the drama comes in trying to decide what the rest of these are. So I think the first one is, let's see, Mockery, Maintain, yeah. I'm going to put the Grave Robber's Pilfer in here. Just, like I said, she's not great in Torchless, so this, it's nice. Like, I'm sure everyone's hit it and it's just been nutty and it worked and all that, but just really not. Like, I get torches and crap most of the time, so it's just not worth in most things. Bless, I kind of have second thoughts about this, but I'm not sure what else is worse than this for me to put in here. Like, the 10 accuracy is nice. I don't think I can put this in the bottom. There's no way. I'm going to have to find something else. Or maybe just go with 9. I don't know. What else do we have, though? So, Reject the Gods, I think was one of them. Yeah. The reason being that the Vestal camp skills that impact religious characters are a little harder to weave in. Reject the Gods feels like it hits people quite frequently. And it's 2 points and all that, but it's on a class that has, no joke, can get up to 40% crit rate pretty easily in most cases, and she's always killing stuff, so she's just working stress off all the time. So the fact that she will need 20 stress reduction at some point at the cost of hitting the rest of your team with stress is not likely. So I'm gonna leave it down there. Unshakable Leader, there's just like pep talk for a person that can heal themselves. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can not use this and just hit pep talk on someone and you'll be fine. Okay. Eldritch Blood, this is really bad. Just the more I think about this, I don't like this move. I'd rather just put a Bleed Charm on, or like Flesh Heart, and that's it. I don't have to worry about the rest of the stuff. Too many downsides for like marginal upsides. Like I said, it comes down to the bleed, disease, and the stress, so just pop Holy Water. Why not? Is that 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have to pick one, Chef. We have to pick one. I'm going to pick the Bounty Hunter one. This was always in the back of my head. I'm sure someone's going to come at me over it, but hear me out. Bounty Hunter already has Scouting for 1 extra point, and Scouting is much better than this. And if you really need to, there are other ways to get Surprise Chance and Scouting and all that. So it's better to just stack Scouting than it is for this. It is 2 points. This shouldn't probably be in the bottom 10, but I literally can't think of something else I want to put in here. Before I keep going, I have to make this distinction. So people are going to see that this gives you 3 speed and a bunch of stuff for 3 points and it's in B, and this gives you 4 speed and nothing else and it's in A, or S. And you'd be like, why is that? That seems very inconsistent. So the first thing is, Flag has no stun besides him dying and stunning the entire party, or the entire enemy team. So the speed on A-Bomb becomes much more important at that point. The other thing is that Flag has other ways to manipulate his speed. A-Bomb gets 1 trinket. Flag gets 1 trinket. Flag also has his Death Store effect that gives him speed. So he can do other stuff about that. A-Bomb just gets this. So it's... And plus this is more speed. This is 4 points. And the other things that happen in whatever the skill's called, I can't remember what it's called. The other stuff that happens, like the Cure and the Bleed and the Blight, as I've been saying, the Bleed isn't that important, and the Blight, sure, but you can tank that in most cases. And then there is the Heal effect, which if Flag is low HP, I would rather let him stay low HP, use his huge speed to go first, or very early in the next round, or the next fight, and then just hit Exsanguinate. So I don't feel like the other stuff is very relevant, considering the rest of the Flagellant kit. However, the Quickening does complement the rest of the Abomination kit very well. So that's my reasoning. I hope it makes sense. Yeah. The anti-thing doesn't belong in here either, just because, like I said, it's nuts and Farmstead. The damage for stress thing, this is probably the next contender, or then Let the Mask Down. If this wasn't 1 point, I'd throw it in here with, like, no questions. It's 1 point, though. And that's not bad. Anyway, that's our bottom 10. You can go ahead and fight me on it. And then our top 10. Oh, the worst skill. Chant's the worst skill in the game. There you go. Chant is definitely the worst camp skill. It's hot trash. So we have the top 10 now. So I'm just going to throw them in here and we'll talk about them afterwards. So, not the quickening. You just said it was really good, Chef. Yep, I did. What's our first one? Marching plan. And then Snuff Box. I didn't rate these in the right order. Tactics. I did rate Tactics next. What am I doing? What am I doing? Eye of the Tiger. Like I said, I wanted to put Bless in here too, but 10 accuracy and 10 dodge, it's still a good upside. Very hard to argue against that. Hound's Watch and Bandit Sense, these are the same skill. I'm just going to put one of them up here. So it doesn't matter. They're both the exact same thing, the same effectiveness, just really powerful. Overall, Reflection. Where's Reflection? This thing is nutty. And we have Trinket Scrounge, surprisingly. Might be thinking to yourself, it's just 2 points for stuff. Like, yeah. Yeah, it is. Night moves, best scouting per camp point in the game. And then we have Sharpened Spear. Hyper Carry Hellion. There she is. And then finally, Dark Strength. It was much harder to pick the top 10 than the bottom 10, because the bottom 10, like the other video we did, was it the skills tier list? The bottom 10, I just took out the bottom skills, then I had like think about one or two. And the same thing happened with this bottom 10. I already had 5, and then I had to think about these, and I already knew 3 out of the 5, and then I just had to really think about the last 2. So it wasn't that difficult, but the top 10 did take a minute. It took the majority of the time that I spent there. And there are a lot of good contenders. Like my honorable mentions, which I probably should have did first, so I'm sure people clicked out of this video already. But it would be like Gallows Humor, probably Lash's Cure, Leeches, Dark Ritual, and if I had to pick a 5th, maybe Revel might be my honorable mentions. Those are all just pretty good overall. Or maybe Stand Tall over Revel. I think it'd be Stand Tall. It's hard to say. But as for everything up here, I'm very confident with this list here. Trinket Scrounge may seem weird because it's just, you know, loot box. But like I said, it's 2 points for 100 or 750 gold minimum. It has a chance to high roll. So if you haven't seen the percentages yet, the wiki is a very awesome place. Go check it out. So Trinket Scrounge is 68% chance, so about 2/3 chance to get a common trinket, so a white trinket. And then that means you have a 1 in 3 to get something actually pretty solid. So if you hit some of the very rare trinkets, that's a pretty small pool overall. The rare trinkets, the blue trinkets, are pretty big. That's a big pool of stuff. And then green trinkets, there are a lot of good green trinkets out there too, like surgical gloves, bleed amulets, book of relaxation's okay, blood charm. There are a lot of good contenders out there. Really good blue trinkets, feather crystal, off the top of my head. It's the first one I can remember. I can't think of anything else. It's been a long day. And then very rare, there's focus ring or cleansing crystal. I don't know if you can get garlic off this. That'd be sick. So there are a lot of good things to get from this. I wonder, can you get garlic? Does it say? I'm not sure. But I was going to say, if you could get garlic, could you do a mission where garlic is the odds are astronomical. Could you do a mission where garlic is the reward, and then camp, and then hit garlic, and then get 2 garlics? I don't think you can. There's no way. That'd be interesting. Anyway, back to this. So at minimum, it's 750 gold, which is really good. And then it can high roll and get you something pretty freaking awesome. It can. The reason it's good is because it can jump your power level from where you're at. So if you camp at level 0 and hit like an orange trinket, like a focus ring, wow, that's incredible. So it's pretty fun. It's a fun button to press. It can be effective. I like it quite a bit. The other stuff, Dark Strength, just very powerful. Sharpened Spear is amazing. I talked about the rest of these. Reflection was honestly a contender. Surprisingly, the list for this came down to Marching Plan, Snuff Box, Tactics, and Reflection. Those are the 4 things I was considering for best skill. And I'm going to end with Marching Plan. I think Marching Plan is probably the best camp skill in the game. Tactics is the runner-up. I'm sorry, Man-at-Arms enthusiasts. For as much as I dunk on our Marching Plan is gross. Just 2 speed to your whole team. Like, that prevents so much damage over the 4 battles that really helps you get more stress healing and regular healing out for your other characters, and it controls battles. It's that thing about action economy that I talked about and I just made the video on. I can't say enough good. Tactics, it's between this and tactics. I'm very confident it's these two. The more I look at this list. This is probably 3rd. Actually, I forgot about this. But the reason it couldn't be Reflection is because that affects one character. These affect other people. And the Stuff Box can save you like 2,000 gold every time you press it. Minimum. Like, the... Oh, my nose is itchy. I'm sorry. I got, like, cat hair and stuff going on. But, you know, if Grave Robber has a disease and the other person has one, you're curing 2. That's, like, between 1,500 to 2,000 gold. If they have multiple diseases, value just goes off the charts. So, kind of think of it like about 800 gold to 1,000, depending on where you're at in the game and what levels you have, per disease. So this can save you between, like I said, 800 to like 2,400 gold or 3,000, depending on upgrades and stuff. Very reliably. Very easily, too. Nice. Alright, so that's it, right? That's it. Okay, we're done. That's the Camp Skills tier list. Thank you, Tatsu, for making this so I could use it. Very fun. Check out Discord if you haven't, Patreon, all that other stuff, Twitch, streaming, blah, blah, blah. Next video, I don't know what the next tier list is. I'm kind of out of ideas right now. I have to think about it. People ask me stuff like Ancestor voice lines. No, there are too many voice lines. And otherwise, the Antiquarian guide, I will try to finish this weekend. It won't be out till like next week. Probably like next Saturday I'll hold it because it's a big release, so I want to save it for the weekend. Plus I gotta talk to Thick. I'm bouncing all the ideas off him, so I want to talk to him. Okay, I'm done. I'm getting dinner. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.